Hey everybody, this is Anjanette from AJ's Personal Touch. How you doing? Um, it's Sunday afternoon, a little bit before 3, and I wanted to come on and do at least one of the two tag videos. Depending on how long the first one takes, I may do them both together. I'm not sure. But the first one I was tagged in was from Ambie, and it's a tag video that she created herself. And that's Ambie from ambiekraftsreads, and it's the 12 months about me tag questions. Um, by the way, welcome back to my subscribers and welcome into anybody new. Sorry, my head is thinking about the tags and not my introduction and saying hi to you guys. So let's see. First question. Well, month, because it's a question per month. January, first month. What was the first book you fell in love with? First book I fell in love with. I love books. I read a lot of books when I was younger. I know when I was little, I fell in love with Curious George and, things like that. But as far as reading on my own, I can remember, I think I was in fifth grade or so, and I was at my aunt's house, and my aunt had tons of books. And she loaned me Wuthering Heights because I was bound and determined to read it, but it was just so hard at the beginning for me at that age that it took me a couple of years before I actually read it. And she also loaned me Gone with the Wind. And I already knew that I loved the movie because I'd seen it a number of times. And I fell in love with the book. The book is so much better. If you've only watched the movie and you've never read the book is awesome because, I mean, there's characters in the book that they don't even touch on in the movie. So, because of course it's a huge book. It's like, I want to say close to 1,000 pages, if not more. So, yeah, they totally leave out the fact that Scarlett has a son in the book. I was like, she has a son? Wow. So it's really good. If you haven't read it, you should go read it. So I know that was one of the first. Um, I knew that I loved suspense because when I was younger, I liked to read Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys and all of those. Um, and so now my favorite author who has passed within the last couple of years is Mary Higgins Clark, and she's a suspense writer. So I've tried to read everything that she has out there. I know there's a couple books that I have not read yet, and I just need to find which ones they are. So I need to go down her list of all of her books and like check off the ones that I remember reading. And sometimes there's like one or two that I forget about. I start reading the book and I'm like, oh yeah, I've read that one before. And then of course I sit and I read the whole thing anyway. She's a writer that if I have one of her books, I want to have the whole weekend to myself to be able to sit down and read because I do not like putting the book down at all because it's just so intriguing because she's just one of those authors who can write to where you know, usually it's like, okay, I'm going to go to the end of this chapter and, put the bookmark in and then I'll come back later and read. And she writes her books in so many different people's voices. Um, so it's not just written from one person. It's not written from the narrator. It's not written from just one character. You hear the voice of many people, and all of them have something important to contribute that you may not think has anything to do with the book. And then when it gets to who actually, crime or whatever, it's like, oh, now I know why she wrote it like that. So you think, okay, I'm going to get to the end of the chapter, I'm going to put it down. Well, no, because she leads you into the next chapter with the last few sentences of the chapter that you're reading so that you want to see what the next character is going to say. Every once in a while, a couple chapters are the same character, but most of the time, each chapter has a different character. So, yeah, I just love her books. Absolutely love them. I have one sitting in in my bedroom that I have tried to start a couple times, but I knew I didn't have a lot of time to read it, so I've put it down. I will be finishing it really soon. I'm sure about that. February, Valentine's Day. What is your relationship status? I'm married. I have been married for 28 years. Let me see. We got married in 95, 95, 2005, 15, 25 will be 30. Yeah, this year will be our 20th wedding anniversary. So yeah. My husband's name is Bob. And for anybody who's ever been in the virtual chat, a lot of you have gotten to know him. You may not see him, but you hear him because when he's sitting there, he will, comment in every once in a while on something. Um, you guys have heard him on the video because he's been home more and he'll comment. And if you just heard just a couple minutes ago, he was sitting here and I can't remember if he said something, made a sigh or something, but I'm sure you guys heard it. March, my birthday month, Ambie's birthday month. When is your birthday? My birthday is December 24th. Um, yeah, and I do not envy anybody who has a holiday birthday, especially Christmas time. So I happen to know somebody who was born on Christmas Day, and for him it was even worse than for me on Christmas Eve. So, I mean, it's not completely terrible. It's kind of cool when you're younger, thinking, "Oh, my birthday's on a holiday," and then when you realize you can't have a party because your friends are all busy doing holiday stuff, then it gets to be like, okay, it's the parties that I miss more than anything else. I mean, yeah, I got Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, and was, given a present. And that was kind of terrible because then in August, when my brother had his birthday, he got a ton of presents in August and a ton of presents for Christmas. So you know and I know it's hard on people because you're buying Christmas gifts and that's hard enough, and then when there's a birthday thrown in there and you've got to go buy an extra gift, it's just easier to say, okay, I bought these gifts for Christmas, and take one out and say, that one's for your birthday. And yeah, I got kind of used to that, but once I met my husband, he changed that. Him and my daughter, they always actually they consider my birthday more important than Christmas. So they actually have been talking about not even doing gifts for Christmas anymore. I don't like that idea because I'm like, yeah, you guys can stop giving gifts, but I'm always going to be making stuff. So I'm always going to give you something because I'm going to have something to give you from what I've made. So I love gift giving. I can't say no, I don't want to give gifts for Christmas because I love giving gifts and I love seeing the reaction that people have when you give them something, especially something that you've made and taken time with and it comes from your heart. I just I just love seeing the reaction from everybody. So, yeah, my birthday, Christmas Eve. April showers. What is your favorite type of weather? Actually, my favorite type of weather is springtime. Um, and I love the rain. There is nothing more beautiful, I think. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. And then I gurged on myself. There is nothing more beautiful, I don't think, than a spring day where it's raining and it's cool, but yet warm enough that you can go sit outside on the porch and watch it rain and just listen to the rain and get taken away with the sound. Sit out there with a book to read, your crochet if you're in a nice dry spot, yeah, I just love it. Absolutely love it. And the smell from a nice spring rain, nothing beats it. I mean, yeah, you have rain. We have rain in all seasons here. We have rain in winter. We have rain, fall, but nothing beats a springtime rain because you're smelling those flowers growing, new earth, everything brand new, for the new generation of, spring and seasons. And yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. May brings May flowers. What is your favorite flower? I have a toss up. My favorite flower that comes like a flower just on us is a daffodil. And it's kind of cool because for December, my birthday month, my birthday flower is narcissus, which is a tiny daffodil, and I just love them so so much. Um, but as far as like a bush, I love lilacs. Oh, I absolutely love lilacs. So it's a toss up for me between daffodils and lilacs, which ones I love the most. Um, I think lilacs edge out the daffodils a little bit more just because of the beautiful smell and aroma that come from them. Ugh, we have some lilac bushes outside, and the last couple of years, because the weather always goes back and forth so many times, like it seems like it's winter, then it seems like maybe spring is starting, then it seems like winter again, then spring is starting, winter, spring, winter, summer. Like it just passes over spring, and you end up having days with the really heavy rains. And unfortunately, when you have a lilac bush that is just starting to bloom, if the blooms are coming on and you get that really, really heavy rain, you're going to lose them quickly. So, yeah, the last couple years before I could get out and actually cut a couple branches off, because we have smaller bushes. For people who have larger bushes, it's not as much of a problem, but ours are smaller. So by the time I could get out there and cut some blooms off to bring inside to put in a vase and let it just smell so amazing in here, I haven't been able to do that. But I have opened the door and just been in love with the aroma that comes from all the flowers out there between my lilacs and my tulips that still come up. I I want every year I say I want to plant more bulbs, but with the way I've been in my health, every time it comes time for bulb planting, I just have not been able to. Um, I really want some more tulips and some more daffodils. I planted them when we first moved in here, had a ton of them. And then my husband decided he wanted to put that stuff down. Um, it's a roll that you put down over your plant areas to try and keep all the weeds from coming up. And I didn't realize that I could just leave my plants be and he could put it over it. So I went and I dug up as many bulbs as I could because I had gotten quite a few and planted them. And I replanted them in the back, and they'll come up like my hyacinths are like only have flowers on one side and not all the way around. So I must have chopped into the bulb somehow. So yeah, I would one of these years I want to get some more bulbs to plant out there. I know my husband brought some and we never got them planted, so I'm pretty sure they're rotted by now. But I would love to plant some more tulips and daffodils and hyacinths outside because the smell in the springtime, nothing compares to that, especially after you have a nice rainy day and then that smell starts coming in afterwards. It's just so, so gorgeous. I used to work in a flower shop, and Easter time was awesome because it just smelled so good in there, especially when we had to go into the cooler and get the stuff out. You wouldn't smell it at first when you went into the cooler because it would hide the smell, but as soon as you would bring out like a hyacinth plant or something that you're getting ready to decorate to send out, that smell would just go through the whole entire floral shop, and it was just so gorgeous. I love flowers. Can you tell? Um, June, summer starts. What is your favorite ice cream? My favorite ice cream is mint chocolate chip. And then coming in a close second is a toasted coconut. Um, we used to have a Baskin Robbins, which we don't have anymore, and they had toasted coconut. And every time I went to Baskin Robbins, I would get it because it was just so, so good. The only thing I've found that's come kind of close to it are the Outshine fruit bars, the Outshine frozen fruit bars, and they have coconut, and I just love those. Um, but it's not as good as the ice cream was, not at all. And I keep hoping that when we go on vacation in different places that we'll run into a Baskin Robbins because I would just love to have Baskin Robbins toasted coconut ice cream again. It would like oh so good. Um, July, July, July 4th. Do you have any family in the military? Um, trying to think if I have any right now. I've had family in the military throughout the years. I think I may have a nephew in the military, but I'm not positive. And I think I have a second cousin. Actually, I know I have a second cousin in the military. My cousin's son just went into the military, finished his boot camp and everything last year. So yeah, um, I'm sure I have more than that from the younger generations and some that family that I haven't seen in a long time. But I know at least, I think I know at least two. I know my nephew on my husband's side, he went into the military. I think he still works for the military as a recruiter, but I'm not positive on that. Yeah. My husband said he's still in. So yeah, my nephew is a recruiter. That answers that question. August, back to school. What was your favorite subject in school? Hmm. I love math. I loved English, except I did not like writing papers, but especially when it came to high school and you had to read all the books, I just loved reading everything. Of course, my favorite, absolute favorite subject would have to be choir, which isn't one of the subjects I know that Ambi's asking about, but oh, excuse me. I was in swing choir. I was in band. I loved band too. I played the flute and then I played the bassoon. I loved playing the bassoon. Absolutely, absolutely adored it and loved it. Um, what I loved the most was choir and then getting into drama class and doing all the plays and the musicals and all of that. I just adored it. I was a very shy child and I was had very, very low self-esteem, which I've had to work on over the years. And I mean, it's still not the best, but at least it's not as low as it was when I was in high school. Terrible, terrible self-esteem. But yet I loved being in choir and singing in front of people. And then I loved when I learned about swing choir and being in swing choir, and it helped me come out of my shell. Otherwise, I was the type of person to sit in the corner in a party or whatever and just not talk to people unless I knew you. If you were a friend that I've known for a while, I would sit and we could talk each other's ear off. But if I didn't know you, I would be shy, and unless somebody introduced you to me, I probably wouldn't end up talking to you. So I made it through high school by having, I worked at Dairy Queen. We had the DQ crew, so we'd have parties and things. But I didn't have the great big huge friend circles like other people had. My friends really were around related around choir and drama and all of that. Where when we go to high school reunions and because you have in school you have or we did, I know things are changed a little now, we had you know regular English, honors English, and advanced placement. And we had that for everything, math and science, And I was in advanced placement classes. Um, my senior year, I went down to honors because it interfered with being in swing choir. And I wouldn't have been able to be in swing choir if I would have stayed in my advanced placement class. So I went back and I ended up having to write my high school thesis twice because in advanced placement, you do it your junior year. And then for everybody else, they do it their senior year. So yeah, I ended up having to write it twice. Um, the first time was hard enough having to write two, but my second one, I was sick. Oh my goodness, I had walking pneumonia. I had broken my wrist and I had mono, and I was out of school for over a month. And when I went back, I could only go back staggering classes. So my teacher, my senior year, because I had already done a thesis, lots of times he would send me to the library so that I didn't have to, listen to everything again, like how to do footnotes and, this and that, all the mundane things that we had to learn. And so he'd send me to the library so I could work on other subjects, especially after I was sick and I could get caught up on all of my work that I had missed. And he ended up, because I had broke my wrist and I couldn't type it out, he took a handwritten rough draft from me for my rough draft. And then I got mono after that. So I can't remember if I ended up typing up my paper or not, or if he took my handwritten edits. But he was amazing. He worked with me, and I still ended up getting a good grade in his class. But yeah, I think I've talked about school long enough now. Um, September, Labor Day. What is your job? Well, I'm disabled now. Pretty much my job, I guess, would be this channel and making stitch markers. I'm hoping making stitch markers will be my job if I can start selling them because, as you guys know, I don't have a regular shop yet. I don't know if that's the reason why people aren't seeing them. I have got to get a web page up, and I had promised myself to have it done by January, but then I've been so sick. So hopefully by mid-March, I will have my web page up and together. It's something I'm going to start working on again this week since I've been starting to feel better. Who knows? Maybe by the end of this month, I'll have it done. Um, but my job before I had to stop working was a massage therapist, and I miss it. So, yeah, if you guys ever have issues with your muscles and stuff and you have questions, feel free to ask. And if I remember, like what to do for this and that, which I pretty much, do, I give advice all the time because it's the massage therapist coming out in me. So you have sore muscles, you don't know what to do, ask me a question and I'll tell you what I know and what I would tell my clients when I had them. I had my own office. It was really nice. I had a partner where we shared, she had her room, I had mine, and we shared the outer office. And I was doing really, really good. And then the first, I guess, mini depression happened or what, when it got hard to do loans and all of that stuff happened with Fannie Mae and all that stuff. And it was really hard. But what kept me through there and not losing everything was the fact that I worked for a chiropractor. And because I worked for a chiropractor and we could charge out to insurance, I was able to keep going and keep my office open. And it never got to be as good as it was before then, but it had started to do really well again. And then, of course, I got sick and I couldn't work anymore. Still, every once in a while, I'll have somebody message me say, "Are you still working? Do you think you're going to come back to working? And if you do, will you let us know?" So I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. Uh, October, Halloween. What is your favorite candy bar? My favorite candy bar by far is Reese's. Reese's peanut butter cups, especially the shaped ones, like the eggs for Easter, and the trees and that. But then after that is dark chocolate. I love almost anything dark chocolate, and especially like a Mounds candy bar. I remember when they used to have Bounty bars. I loved Bounty bars because they had the dark chocolate and the milk chocolate ones, and the dark chocolate was my absolute favorite. Coconut and dark chocolate together, loved it. Um, November, Thanksgiving. What is your favorite food? Hmm. Everything's changing because my diet changes so much now. Yes. As my husband just said, my absolute favorite food is my dad's mashed potatoes. And my whole when I was younger, and when my daughter was little, and when my goddaughter was little, and my godson, they all knew if I got sick, mom wanted mashed potatoes, and AJ wanted mashed potatoes. So my husband would usually make mashed potatoes, and my daughter would bring a bowl into me, or if I got up or whatever. But mashed potatoes has always been like my comfort food of choice. Um, and especially when it comes to Thanksgiving, if my dad has made them, I'm not passing them up. Even right now, when I'm doing low carb, I will not pass up my dad's mashed potatoes ever. Um, what else? As far as like type of food, I love Italian. I think Italian would have to be my absolute favorite. And again, I don't get to eat it as much anymore. Can't have the pasta and that on low carb, but I can have spaghetti squash, which I love. Um, and you can put the spaghetti sauce on top of there. So, and pizza. Of course, I love pizza. Uh, December, Christmas. What is your favorite Christmas movie? Hmm. I have a couple. I can't just say one. I love White Christmas. Oh, gotta love Bing Crosby. Whoa, Bing Cosby. Wow. Um, I also love him in Holiday Inn, which I've always considered a Christmas movie, but it's not a complete Christmas movie because it covers all the holidays. Um, It's a Wonderful Life. I try to watch it every year when I can. The years it because it used to be on NBC every year, and then it went to a cable station. When it had went to the cable station, I didn't get to watch it because I didn't have it on tape or anything at the time. But now I can. I have streaming service in that, and it's not strictly on whatever channel it was. So the last couple of years, I've got to watch it again. Anything else? I just love Christmas. I love to watch Hallmark movies at Christmas time, or now the Family Channel. Um, I just love Christmas. I mean, I guess being born Christmas Eve has something to do with that as well. Okay, that was the end of the 12 months about me tag questions. That was put out by Ambi. I'm going to go ahead and do the springtime one as well. And it is called the Spring Fling 2023 tag. And this was created by Rose Likes Crochet, at Rose Likes Crochet. And I saw it the first time on Crafting Kitty. Um, so I personally was not tagged in this one, but I thought I might as well do it since I was going to be doing the one that Ambi tagged me in. Now, Ambi has Tag Tuesdays on her channel, so you'll probably be seeing me do a lot more tags than I used to do because I'm pretty sure she tags me in almost every tag video that she does. I have not seen her last one, so I mean, we're friends, so we usually, tag each other. If I happen to find a tag that she hasn't done yet, I tag her. So yes, I'll be tagging her in the Spring Fling one because I don't think she's done it yet. So questions. Number one, what do you like to do in spring that you can't do in any other season? that one is kind of hard, and I know it was hard for crafting kitty them too because things that I like can be done in almost any season. But as I said in the last tag, I love rainy spring days and then with the smell of the flowers coming up afterwards. So I guess you can only do that in spring. So sitting outside on the porch when it's raining in the spring and then smelling all the spring flowers. Yeah, I love that. Number two, what is your favorite springtime flower? Um, and we talked about that. I love daffodils, but I love tulips and hyacinths as well. And I also consider lilac springtime, although they do now have bushes where lilacs will grow all through the summer as well. Um, what is your favorite thing about spring? My favorite thing about spring is the rebirth. I love when we go and we drive by a pond that's in a park not far from here, that I can see the ducks and the little ducklings. Or even just down, we live off of it's called Riverside, and so the road follows the river. There's ducks and that around there, ducks and geese, and you can see them waddling and with their little tiny ducklings following behind them. It is just so cute. And every once in a while, I'll get a glimpse of a brand new baby bunny following its mama. I just love all the rebirth and all the flowers blooming, everything turning green, and all of the smells of spring. So that's what everything except for mowing grass. Although I consider that more of a summer smell than a spring smell, because usually in spring things are still growing, but it does get usually to a certain point where people have to start mowing their grass in the spring. I'm allergic to dirt and dust. So when people are mowing their lawns, I hate it because I love to have the door open in the spring, but I have to close it because then I'll get really sick. Because yeah, I'm allergic to dust. But luckily, knock on wood or whatever, I'm not allergic to pollen. So when the pollen count is high and stuff, that doesn't bother me. But dust, and you can't get away from that all spring and summer with people mowing their lawns and everything. So yeah, we usually have to keep the house pretty well shut up because that bothers me really bad. As I said in the last one, I had loved I had planted bulbs one year, but I loved every year when spring came around, Mother's Day in where we live in the northern part of Indiana. It's you have to wait to plant your plants until after Mother's Day because it can still frost before then. So we used to always go out on Mother's Day, and my Mother's Day present would be flats of flowers, and then we would come back, and my husband and I and my daughter, and we would plant them. But once we found out that I was allergic to dust, and which I wasn't when I was younger, I acquired it when I got older. When I was out there, working, planning, I would always get so, oh, just sinuses and everything would just fill immediately. Um, okay, sorry, I had to pause it. My husband was going out the door for work. Um, I miss planting flowers. I haven't been well enough to do it. So I used to go into work, like I said, I was a massage therapist, and I would just be all nasally and everything. And they'd be like, "Oh no, are you sick?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to get you sick." I was out planting flowers because whenever I would plant my flowers, literally for at least 2 weeks later, I would be all stuffed up and all congested and yuck. So, yeah. Um, Number four, what is the weather like in your area in spring? The weather is supposed to be in the springtime here, like anywhere between the 30s, well, not 30s, I wouldn't say anywhere between 50s and 70s, which is my absolute favorite time of year and my absolute favorite type of weather. Um, or I don't have to, if I don't have to wear a coat, but I could wear a sweatshirt, love it. Absolutely love it. I don't like wearing a jacket in the winter if I can get away with it. I have a wrap that my mom gave me. It's actually you can wear it as a wrap or a poncho, and I wear that a lot, and it's nice and warm. But I'm going to be making my first shawl for myself starting today when I get off of here. So yeah, I'm going to start having shawls and things to wear as well. So number 5. Oh, but as far as the weather goes, anymore, we don't have a regular spring anymore that lasts like a couple months. It may last a couple weeks now, and then boom, it's summer. If we're lucky to have a spring at all. Sometimes it goes straight from winter to summer, and I cannot stand that. I hate it when it goes from winter to 80 degrees. Boom. So, the last couple of years, we've been starting to get spring back a little bit, and I hope it keeps happening because I have missed my actual springtime weather. Uh, when do you start your garden if you have one? I don't have one. We have a yard that is full of clay, and it's just really hard to plant in. And we have a small wooded area in the back. And no matter what I have done, I have not been able to keep the animals away from my garden. So I used to try to container garden, and I can remember I was so excited. I saved seeds from my spaghetti squash. I'm like, I'm gonna plant my own. I'm gonna grow my own, so I don't have to buy it at the store. I, I'd watch the plant. It was coming up, beautiful, gorgeous plant, huge. The blossoms would come on it, and I'm like, yes, it's gonna bear fruit soon. You'd start seeing the spaghetti squash start to form, and I get all excited. And then I went outside like 2 days later, and the plant was about this big, and everything had been eaten off, and I didn't know what was doing it. I started collecting my hair, my daughter's hair, putting human hair in there like it says to do to keep the animals away, and whatever I could do to keep them away. And nothing was working. And I went out to get in my car one day to go to work, and I have to walk by some of the containers and then, go around the other side of the car, and the containers are all on the passenger side of the car. And I had walked by the back one and around the car and went to get in the driver's side. And then all of a sudden I looked over and this head popped up from inside of the container. And I was like, whoa, what is that? I had I always want to call it a possum, but my husband said we don't have possums around here. Oh, I can't think of what the name of it is now. I swear it's a possum. I thought we had, oh, no, I think it was a possum. I think what I said, it looked like an armadillo, but I think it was a gray possum. Huge, huge, bigger than my cat. And because turned on the car, it must have startled him. It startled him before that because he had popped his head up before, and then he jumped out and he went waddling across the yard and across the street. But he is what was eating all of my squash and my cucumbers because I had planted cucumbers too. I was so so sad. Now I can plant tomatoes and they will leave them alone. The thing is not everybody here likes tomatoes, and I only like them every once in a while. So what I really want to get is like a grape tomato plant. That's what I would like because I've had one before and it is so nice. And when it starts to fruit, and then all I have to do is pop it off the vine when I'm outside, pop it in my mouth, and it is so good. I don't need to eat it on a salad. I don't need to eat it in anything. I can just eat them individually off the vine, and they are just so, so good. Every time I go to the store to get a grape tomato plant, they're all gone. By the time I can get there, by the time my husband will take me, or, I can get somebody to take me, they're all gone. So I didn't get to even look last year until after planting season. You okay, baby? She was scratching her ear when she was doing that. Keep telling my husband I think she's got something going on, but he's like, I don't think so. She was doing that in her sleep yesterday, making that noise while she was sleeping. Okay. Anyway, back to this. Um, Number 6, do you celebrate Easter? We go and have dinner at my aunt's house. Sometimes if I'm sick, I don't. When it comes to any holiday, because of my terminal illness, um, I may not be able to celebrate. There's been Christmases I haven't been able to celebrate. There's been Easters. There's been Thanksgiving. So, yeah, for me, it depends on how I'm feeling and if I'm sick or not. And if I'm not, and my aunt and uncle usually always have Easter and we go over there. Um, you crochet slash knit anything special for spring? Not really. It depends on what I'm working on. The shawl I'm going to start working on is going to be a spring summer shawl. Since I've started learning how to make garments, I like to make summer tops for myself. Well, spring slash summer tops. Um, Not making anything this year though because I'm, looking at having surgery. So I don't want to make something and then not have it fit. I already have two tops that aren't going to fit me once I have surgery done. So I don't want to make any more until afterwards, until I know what size I'm going to be. I don't want to estimate and then have it end up being either too big or too small. What is your favorite spring color? My favorite color is yellow. So my favorite spring color is yellow. I love a buttercup yellow. And to me, that is a spring color, or even just a light pale yellow. Yeah, love my yellows. Do you do spring cleaning? Yeah, I tend to. I mean, depending if I'm not sick, I will open up the house and I will try to clean as much as I can. We have so much clutter in the house. I have a lot of cleaning to get done this year. I have a lot of stuff I want to rearrange and get done. And not really getting a lot of help. And some of that's my own issue because when my husband used to help me move things and stuff, he'd put things away in places and I couldn't find them. And so anytime I would ask him, where's this or where's that, he would take it as I was upset that he moved it. Um, to be honest, there were times that I was upset when he moved certain things because they shouldn't have been moved. But I try not to react that way now because, yeah, I don't want to upset him. But he's very sensitive about some of those things, and I never know when I'm going to upset him. So now he's to the point where he says he doesn't want to help. Um, or I have to show him where I want things put, and then he will put them wherever I tell him to put them. So, yeah, I have a lot that needs to be done. This house is cluttered, it is a mess, and it's basically because I have been so sick. So, I have a lot to get done this year. So, winter cleaning, spring cleaning, whatever kind of cleaning, I have a lot to do. Uh, Number 10, do you go anywhere for spring break? No, spring break isn't a thing for us anymore because my daughter is married and we have no grandkids. So, yeah, we didn't really go and do a lot for spring break before because all the places we like to vacation tend to be booked out in the springtime. We went we went away for spring once and that was down to the Smoky Mountains. Loved it, had a wonderful time. I'm very glad we did because we took my daughter's fiance with us at the time. They weren't engaged at the time, but yeah, we took her boyfriend with us at the time. And for all of you who have followed me, you know that um, that was Patrick, and he passed away in a car accident right literally days before my daughter's senior year. It was Labor Day weekend in 2014. So, yeah, if we wouldn't have gone that spring break, we wouldn't have had the vacation that we had with him. And it was wonderful. And we got to know him so much better. And we had already considered him a son in law way before him and Emily said they were going to get married. So, yeah, um, we all miss him very much. I know my daughter doesn't talk about it anymore. She has her husband now and everything. So I get that. Um, I try not to talk about my fiance who passed away when I was younger. So, because, that's, my husband doesn't like to hear about that. If I'm having a particularly bad day, if I'm having dreams and remembering things, yeah, he will talk with me, but I try not to bring it up that much because I know it's got to be hard on him. The fact that, you know, I had some, that was before I met him. So, I mean, he didn't pass away till after I met my husband, but all of that was before him. So he doesn't hold that against me. My husband is a very understanding man, and he is one of the only men that I know who, when it comes to me and my friends, I have a lot of male friends. When I was in high school, I got along with males a lot better than females. I didn't really have female friends until I got older. I mean, I have a couple that I went through school with that I was lucky enough to get close to. Um, but I didn't have a lot of close female friends until even out of high school and when I was working. So, I have one friend from high school that I'm still friends with. Um, but her and I are the type that we don't talk for years, and then when we do talk, it's like nothing has happened in between. So I don't have, like, my daughter had a core of four, and we figured they would have been together forever, but something happened. Things happened, and they're not all talking anymore. At least my daughter's not talking with them anymore, which is really sad because they were all like daughters to my husband and I as well. But, we still think one of these days one of them's going to call her and they're going to end up, talking things out and getting back together. May happen, may not. I mean, that's totally up to them if that ever happens. They call me, they ask me how Emily is, and I tell them she has the same phone number. You need to call her, um, because it's not for me to tell her business. So, yeah. Anyway, um, when I think of spring break, I think of going to the Smoky Mountains, and we were used to spending a week whenever we went to the Smoky Mountains. And that weekend it was really hard to leave. We were all like, this is just terrible. We've only been here for like, we got there. I can't remember if we went down on Thursday. I think we went down on Thursday. And we stayed the weekend. We didn't have the whole week to be there because my husband had to work. So we had a long weekend, and it just was not the same. Not the same at all. Normally we would have one full whole week. Um, and not having that, it felt really, really weird leaving as early as we did. But I'm very glad we went. I'm very glad we took Patrick. I'm very glad that my daughter got to have that special time with him and showing him her favorite place because she loves it down there. So yeah, that's a vacation I'll never forget. And it was our only spring vacation that we really ever took. So, alrighty, that is the end of that tag. I will post the questions below. And as far as tagging people, I will tag Ambie and the one that she did not create. I will tag Kaylin in both of them. I know some of you are being double tagged because some of you have been tagged in the one from Ambi before. And I'm sure you've been tagged in the spring one as well by somebody else who's done it. Um, I'll tag Nana's Crochet Ideas. Lottie, I am sorry, I can't think of the name of your channel right now. Enjoying the journey, something like that. But I will tag Lottie as well. So I think that's enough tags for now. And I will see you guys later. I need to get off of here because my friend and I are going to start working on a shawl today, and she is waiting for me. So I need to get this uploaded, put the questions down on it and the people that I tagged, and go start working on the shawl that I am so excited to make. So see you guys later. Remember, you matter. Remember, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous. Oh, before I forget, I did call Mary Maxim, and they are calling me back tomorrow. Had to go out to a manager, and so the manager should get back to me. She said probably tomorrow. She said more than likely they will replace the cotton yarn, and not expect me to send it back to them. So we'll see what happens. Um, I let's just leave it there for now, and we'll discuss it later. I just wanted to give you a really quick update and that they are taking care of it. I thought that they would. I've always thought they were a great company. So, yeah, can't wait to hear from the supervisor tomorrow and see what she says. So, I will talk to you guys later. Love you guys. And I'm going to try to tape more often, as you can see. So, we'll see. We'll see how things go. I will talk to you later. Love you guys. Later.